Why, hello there, everyone. Mobile Suit Gundam, the Witch from Mercury, has resumed getting a new episode each week. And so, in other words, Suletta Sundays are back. And so, naturally, I will be trying to upload an episode review each week for each episode. Although that's going to be a loose schedule because sometimes if it's an episode I don't have much to say about, I'm going to lump it in with another episode, as I did with some of the episodes from 1 through 12. Sometimes I would do 2 episode reviews in one video, lumping them together that way. But anyways, talking about the OP, since we are getting a new OP now, well, actually before that, I don't really know if this is technically being considered Season 2 or Season 1 Part 2. So for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to be titling this video Episode 13 Review, and henceforth, I think I'm going to talk about the episode numbers as if we are still in Season 1, because even if this is Season 2, Episode 1, that would still be Episode 13, right? So there's no way it could be wrong with me calling it Episode 13. But even so, it would be at least the second half of Season 1, so we got a new OP. Maybe some people are expecting me to hype up the OP, but I actually thought the OP was kind of lame. The song was really forgettable, and it mostly consisted, visually speaking, mostly consisted of just the characters standing around looking moody. Definitely a step down from the first OP, which is a shame because the song was finally starting to grow on me, and then as soon as it started growing on me, we switched to this. But don't worry, because I actually, skipping ahead, normally I would save talking about the credits for the end, but just because I said I don't like the OP much, I will skip to that now and say I actually really like the credits song and the credits visuals as well. Which is weird because normally the OP would be better and normally the credits theme would be way lower effort, right? But in this case, I think the credits song and the credits video is so much better than the OP, so that balances out. Anyway, about the episode itself, starts out with a montage of Suletta fighting all of these people who wanted a duel, and at first I was thinking, why is she having to fight all of these people back to back with no breaks, right? That seems dumb because why would she not want to take breaks in between? Because it seems as if she's being just unnecessarily reckless here, right? She has to hold on to the title of holder. It seems a little reckless to do multiple fights in a row. But apparently, and this gets explained by the Haro, because there are some characters doing some not so subtle expo dumping here to catch us up on what happened, but Aharo exposits that as the holder, if you have any duel requests at any time, you have to do at least one duel once every 2 weeks. So I think as soon as you get a duel request, it then starts counting 2 weeks. 2 weeks from having 0 duel requests to 1 duel request. I think I explained that unnecessarily complicated, but I'm having to kind of rationalize this in my own head because they really didn't say much. All they said was, holder must accept a duel once every 2 weeks if they have any pending requests, okay? And they also said that while the aerial was being rebuilt, 5 of them were postponed. So I'm assuming what they mean is that while the aerial was being rebuilt, Suletta got 5 duel requests, which she couldn't immediately accept, right? Because the aerial was being rebuilt. So she had to hurry up and get through all of them before the 2-week period ended. And I'm assuming it was taking almost 2 weeks for the aerial to be rebuilt. So she had to hurry up and get through all of them, hence why she did them all at the same time. But even so, if that's the case, what Haro said doesn't fully match up with that, because they said you must accept a duel once every 2 weeks if you have any pending duel requests. But I think what they meant to say, and it's possible it was just somewhat lost in translation, based on how Suletta had to fight all of these 5 duels back to back before the end of the 2 weeks, I'm assuming what Haro meant to say was that any kind of duel request you get, you have 2 weeks to accept it. Any kind of duel request, there's a 2-week time limit or something like that. So I had to just sort of rationalize that in my head because they didn't fully explain it. They could have explained it a bit harder, but I'm thinking maybe they purposefully made it a little bit vague just so that way people could explain it in their heads. But then the main point about the episode is that those 2 Earthling girls that were essentially being terrorists in the last episode have essentially infiltrated their way into the Earth House. for some reason. They are posing as transfer students. And one of them, I don't even remember their names. I know they said their names a bunch, but I do not care about these characters, so I think that's why I'm subconsciously not remembering their names very well. But one of them is, I don't know if she's just pretending to be Suletta's sister, or if she literally believes it, or if she's just saying it for fun. I think Suletta just assumes she's saying it for fun, unless Suletta is assuming that she's just mentally ill and she doesn't really know how to deal with that. But it is somewhat reminiscent of Rosamia from Zeta Gundam. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. That's kind of like another callback to Zeta Gundam, right? Some kind of a spy pretending to be the main character's sister. But the weird part is that Suletta just accepts it. Suletta says, oh yeah, haha, yeah, you can call me your big sister if you want, which is really weird because in Zeta Gundam, at least Camille had the common sense to be super weirded out when Rosamia was convinced that she was Camille's sister. So I don't know why, but Suletta just goes along with it, and then there's kind of a funny, cheesy montage of them hanging out together. And then I thought this was going to be a bigger deal about Nika getting essentially seen, Nika's cover getting blown from the other guy in Earth House seeing her when she sent out that call sign in episode 12. But I think it's implied that Nika just gave some kind of lame excuse and the guy just kind of bought it. But in this episode, he confronts her about it again. And that's why I'm thinking she just kind of gave some lame excuse and he accepted it at the time, because if they actually had a serious conversation about it, I don't think he would have come back to her pressing about it again. So he presses her about it a little bit, and she makes the excuse that she just did some kind of generic SOS in desperation, right? But he's obviously not buying that fully. He wants to know what's going on, but he doesn't really want to go report her or anything, because I think he cares about all of the people in Earth House, and he can kind of get the sense that she's doing it out of duress maybe a little bit, or maybe he's just being too nice. And then, they established this earlier. So for some reason, the crazy girl who was saying she's Suletta's sister brought all of these plushies with her. And she's saying, again, I don't know if this is just her making fun or if she's actually insane, but she's saying how each of her plushies represents one of her family members. So for example, she said that this one's my mom, this one's my dad, these are my siblings. And then later, obviously supposed to be symbolic, one of them fell. It showed one of them on the ground. And I don't know which one that was supposed to represent, because when she was saying, that one's my mom, that one's my dad, these are my siblings, it wasn't being super clear which one she was pointing at. So maybe someone else caught it. Maybe that would be a little bit of insight into her backstory, maybe, if that one was supposed to represent either her mom or her dad or one of her siblings, maybe, especially because she was saying that Suletta was her sibling. Maybe she's trying to replace some dead sibling or something. Mentally, I don't know. She's crazy. I'm trying to rationalize it, right? But then Nika talks to them, basically asking why are they even doing this, what their goal is, right? And then they tell Nika, oh, you don't need to know because you're just some middleman. And one of the one that Nika's confronting, not the one saying she's Suletta's sister, but the other one, she pulls out a knife on Nika to threaten her. I literally thought Nika was going to die, because I figured if you're going to threaten someone like that, you would pull out a gun or something. But the fact that she got that close with a knife, I really thought Nika was going to get stabbed there. But she didn't. And so then you'd figure, okay, with Nika being threatened like that, she's either going to stay quiet or she's going to go and just turn herself in along with them and report it to somebody that can actually deal with the situation, right? But no, Nika just walks up to them and asks them again, and Nika says that she's going to go tell on them. I'm going to go tell them even if it turns myself in. But she says this while they are inside of the Ferract Gundam, because they're trying to get the deets on the Ferract, because apparently they don't know how the Ferract was even made, because they're saying it's from a different lineage than the other Gundams. And so naturally, they just try to step on her. And I actually thought it was really nice that Suletta saved Nika here. I mean, in addition, I'm not saying that because, wow, she was so nice to save her. I'm saying it's nice that the episode had Suletta find out about this whole situation. In the same episode, it introduces them infiltrating Earth House because when they first infiltrated Earth House, I was kind of rolling my eyes thinking, oh, this is going to be another one of those dramatic irony things that takes the characters forever to figure out, because the characters still don't know that Elan is a fake Elan, right? And they keep on doing dramatic irony with that. And so I was thinking this was going to be another one of those things. Oh, all these characters aren't going to know about these two girls being those other Gundam pilots until way later, right? And I'm kind of sick of that because we're already in episode 13. I want to see things actually happening, especially since episode 12, like I said in the episode 12 review, that felt like what you would expect in episode 1 or 2 to be in any other kind of Gundam show. But no, the same episode in which they infiltrate Earth House, Suletta finds out there's something fishy going on because she sees that they literally try to step on Nika, right? So I'm sure she's automatically super skeptical about anything they say now. And she's just by default on Nika's side because she was obviously, at least in that situation, looking like the victim. And so they're going to step on Suletta. They're going to kill Nika and Suletta at the same time, right? Because they realize, oh, okay, well, we just have to get rid of the witnesses in this case, right? But Suletta challenges them to a duel, and they have literally no reason to accept the duel. One of them even says it. She said, you think we're dumb? There's no reason to accept a duel. We're just going to kill you right here. But then for some reason, the insane one that likes pretending she's Suletta's sister says that she will accept the duel and somehow convinces the other girl to accept it as well, even though she just pointed out that there's no reason to accept the duel. So I thought that was kind of cartoony, but we will see what the payoff for that is in the next episode. Presumably the next episode will immediately go into the duel. And so if there's a fight in the next scene, if it starts out with a fight, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to talk about in that episode. But also Miorine, you might have noticed I didn't talk about Miorine yet. And that's because Miorine isn't with Suletta. That's because Delling is bedridden. And so Miorine basically had to take over Delling's place. And most interestingly about that is that in the after credit scene, Mio is inheriting the lead role of Project Zero from Suletta's mother. Because Suletta's mother was sort of in on it, she knew about it, and Delling was the guy who either started it or was currently in charge of it, right? And with Delling bedridden, Suletta's mother is proposing to Mio that she should be getting involved in this, right? I wonder how cunning this actually is, right? I'm wondering how much self-interest Suletta's mother has in this situation, because I'm thinking Suletta's mother could maybe see Mio as much more manipulatable. Maybe Suletta's mother could puppet Mio a little bit, and that way Suletta's mother would have a bit more influence over whatever the heck Project Zero is, right? But I'm assuming it has something to do with the Gundam, the Gund format, and that stuff, because there was a little bit of foreshadowing. There were some recurring elements of them talking about Project Zero, how, oh, it's going to be this big thing, and then Suletta talking about how, no, Gundams aren't weapons, they're going to save humanity. She says that they're going to end up saving humanity mere minutes before Suletta's mother tries selling Mio Project Zero by saying that it's going to eliminate all war, right? So I'm assuming those are related with all the transhumanist theories going on with this show. So anyway, let me know what you guys thought about the episode. I was actually considering saving my thoughts on this episode and lumping it in with the episode 2 review, because there wasn't much action in this episode. It was mostly set up for the next episode. But I figured this is episode 1 of season 2, or at least it basically is. And if I saved my thoughts for episode 2, some of my audience might be wondering if I was even planning on covering season 2. So I wanted to go ahead and get this uploaded. So anyways, thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you all later. And make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments, or if you have any questions, leave them in the comments as well. And I will see you guys later. So bye for now.